I was finishing up my first book in 2002, doing what writers do, which is not right, and I'd watched every Law and Order that had been on television. And so I flipped on the History Channel, and there was a show called Vendettas, Clay County War. And I knew my family was from Clay County, so I watched. And it turned out this show was about these two families, the Bakers and the Whites, that had engaged in one of the longest and bloodiest feuds in the history of Appalachia. So I was riveted. At the end of the hour, I pick up the phone and call my father. And I said, there's this show, Vendettas, about these people named the Bakers in Clay County. Are we related? And there was a long pause. And my father said, I guess we need to talk. And that began the project, So Far Appalachia. My name is Brad King, and I'm a professor of journalism at Ball State University. But other than that, I'm a writer, and I've been a writer for almost 20 years. I worked at places like Wired and MIT's Technology Review. Sort of accidentally fell into this world where I know a lot about technology and write a lot about technology. But when this all started, when I was young, what I wanted to do was tell long-form stories, feature stories. And I was really interested in Appalachia. And so as I found that my family had a long history in the region, it seemed like a good story. But I wasn't ready to tell the story. So I spent 10 years going to special collections down in Berea, at Berea College, traveling around the country, interviewing family members who were very young when the feud ended, gathering up bits and pieces of information, reading books on the region. And then it dawned on me about 6 months ago that the book, this memoir, this project, isn't really about my family. It's about something bigger than that. And so Far Appalachia morphed into So Far Appalachia, an American mythology. Because we have this mythology about America and who we are, and there's cherry trees and not telling lies and righteous fights, and everything is very pristine. And the reality of our country is that it was forged by people who lived on the edges of civilization, who pushed into the wilderness, who lived where life became very precious because you never knew what was going to happen. And in those places, in those areas, you sometimes make morally questionable decisions, and not everything is pristine. And you do the thing that you need to do to survive, and that's not always the thing that you're proud of. And all of these things washing together make us who we are today. And certainly there are cherry trees and not telling lies, but there are also these other stories. And So Far Appalachia is a look at who we are today through the lens of who my family was then. So how are we going to do this? Well, I don't want this to be a traditional book. I've worked in the publishing industry, and I don't want to give my intellectual property away. And so what I've proposed doing is I launched a website. It's 2013. This is what we do. And I'll be doing a weekly Paul Harvey-like podcast. And I say weekly, but it may be every 2 weeks. Telling little stories that I've come across and learned. I'll be once a month, starting in August 2013, writing a 5,000-word feature about the book. Right? So all of this will go into the book, and I'll do that for a year. And at the end of the 12 months, I'll assemble all of those magazine pieces that will be given away to anybody who contributes at a certain level for this project. I'll assemble all those and do some revisions and publish them as a book. For people who contribute above certain levels, we're also going to put together a photo book of Clay County as we go down and write this story. And what we hope we do, my wife will be helping me, what we hope we do is put together something rich and compelling that isn't just a memoir of a family, but a memoir of a region and of a country that helps us understand who we are today. Now, of course, this may not work. This is one of the pitfalls. But I'm asking you to help us try. I've had publishers interested in this story, and I have pushed back against them. And this is really the way that I want to do it. I want to tell this story with an audience along the way, reading and interacting with them, because I think this is important. Now, with every project, one never knows how it's going to turn out. I am a professor. I may get stuck grading, so I may push things back a month. I hope not, because I have 10 years of experience, or 10 years of research with this. But one never knows. How your money will be spent, because we're asking to raise $9,000. There's really two buckets. One bucket is travel to go talk to the remaining members of the family. And the second is to make this a professional endeavor, to hire copy editors and designers to lay out the book and make it look really nice. Because while this won't be through a company, I don't want to do this as an amateur. And so that's where the money will go. So, I'm asking for your help. If you're interested in the project, please, any little bit helps. And if you could tell your friends about it or other people who are interested in these kinds of stories, would love that as well. And please drop me a line if you're interested, and visit us at the site, SoFarAppalachia.com, where we'll be posting things throughout the course of this and after. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you around the internet.